no longer speaks to the left. A world interjected with such unhappiness. We have reached a critical mess, a critical stress, a critical mess. No more one hand washing the other. No more caring about your sisters and brothers. Ugliness, emptiness, hopelessness, ruthlessness, homelessness, godlessness. All I want, nothing less. We have reached a critical mess, a critical stress, a critical mess. A world so infected with its own diseases, and no one here wants to pick up the pieces. Ugliness, emptiness, hopelessness, ruthlessness, homelessness, godlessness. All our war we've regressed. Once upon it used to be critical mass, but that limit has been bypassed by the super greedy and the super rich. And now for the rest of us, life is such a bitch. We have reached a critical mess, critical stress, a critical mess. Shattered dreams, shattered lives. How's a world like this supposed to survive? Ugliness, emptiness, hopelessness, ruthlessness, homelessness, godlessness. All I want, nothing less. We have reached a critical mess, a critical stress, a critical mess. The right no longer speaks to the left. A world injected with such unhappiness. We have reached a critical mess, a critical stress, a critical mess. No more one hand washing the other. No more caring about your sisters and brothers. No more looking out for the earth mother. Every man for himself, trampled and smothered. We have reached critical mess. We have reached a critical mess. We have reached a critical mess. Critical stress, critical mess. Critical stress, critical mess, a critical mess. We have reached critical mess.
You are listening to KPEO World Community Radio. That was T5 and Critical Mess. It's the debut of his new album, and you are going to be the first ones to hear it because it doesn't drop until April Fool's Day. Welcome.
Thank you, Renee. It's been really wonderful, the relationship I've had with KPEO. You have welcomed me, and I send in a song from the beginning of my first solo CD efforts. And each week I send one, and they play it here on KPEO. So thank you for supporting local music. And this new CD, I'm very excited about it. It's very relevant for today's ills and problems that we're experiencing. Critical mess. That's kind of what we're going through, and we will get through it because we always do somehow. And this next song, a friend gave me a Christmas stocking with a little tiny ray gun in it, and I have it right here. And this little thing makes about 7 different sounds, and I decided to write a song that was relative to what we're living through today, and so it's called Zap Me, and that's what we're going to listen to next. Zap me out of here. Take me to another place.
Zap me. Zap me. Zap me. Zap me to another place, far from this warmongering race, somewhere where people live in peace, care about humanity. another place, far from this backstabbing race. Somewhere without bullets and guns, somewhere where love is number one, second to none. Peace in the land, it can be done. Number one, get rid of guns, no more hating on anyone. Zap me. Zap me to another place, far from this angry race. Somewhere that's not in agony, somewhere with true equality. Number one, second to none. Peace in the land, it can be done. Number one, get rid of guns, no more hating on anyone. Goodbye, cruel world of pain. Hello, world of love, peace, kindness, joy, and unity reign. Zap me. Zap me to another place, far from this world in disgrace. Somewhere that's not such a mess, somewhere where you wake up feeling blessed. Number one, second to none. Peace in the land, it can be done. Number one, get rid of guns, no more hating on anyone. Zap me. Zap me to another place, far from this war-mongering race. Somewhere where people live in peace, care about humanity. Zap me to another place, far from this backstabbing race. Somewhere without bullets and guns, somewhere where love is number one. Number one, without a bullet. Zap me. Zap me. Zap me. Zap me. Zap me.
To KPO World Community Radio. That was Zap Me by T5. So tell us about yourself. A lot of people don't know you. Our listeners are young and from all over the world. So let's educate them.
Well, I am a global citizen, having been an Air Force brat. I grew up with all the Air Force rebellious children and living in various areas, born in California, lived in Mississippi, lived in Madrid, Spain, Denver, went to University of Colorado in Boulder, and then had a 2-year spell in New York City, came back to Boulder, and then went to Boston with one of my bands, the Scatterbrains, a ska band, and then came back to Boulder, and I keep, coming back. I'm a Niwat's curse, and I just went through playing in different kinds of bands that played everything from straight rock and roll to Grateful Dead and Little Feat and Stones, and then I was in a progressive country band, and then my biggest band was the ska band, the Scatterbrains, that opened for U2 in Fort Collins, and then really got into reggae music. You can see I'm rocking my ska cap and my reggae colors here. That's what really stuck with me. So you hear all those influences in my music, and it's just really a joy. I write a song a day. I've been doing that since 2012. So I have a huge catalog to draw from, and I go back east every 4 months and put out a new solo CD. Because you can do it. You can throw 15 or 18 songs on a CD and do it in 2 weeks rather than spending 6 months to do an album with a full band. And so as a songwriter, it's very gratifying. And, whether I, become known as a singer-songwriter or someone else picks up my songs and their bands play it, it's all good. It's all fine with me. I love performing in a band. I have a band called the Mighty Twisters in Boulder. My wife, Maria, who's here with us today, she's in the band. And one of the guys in the band, Dave Gunders, we go all the way back to the beginning and when we started playing professionally. And we started playing together in college. So, good friends, it's like family. And that's how music is to me. Music, it supersedes everything. We can all communicate through music. We don't need bullets and guns. We don't need colors. We don't need languages. Music says it all.
Yeah. So I'm from New Orleans, and I know you spent some time in New Orleans, but I always tell everybody food, music, and alcohol. It's all you need in life.
Right. Well, for me, it was more food, music, and herb, I would say. A little bit of alcohol. I can't hold my alcohol very well. So
that's okay. It's all good. But tell us something about yourself that inspired you to be a musician.
Well, I lived in Madrid, Spain when the Beatles came out. And I would see my sister, who was older. I had an older brother and sister, and she would sit there with her girlfriend playing the latest Beatles single on the 45s and crying, and just so excited. And I was like, wow, that's really moving, something is really getting in their bones there. And I just really started getting into music. And, over there, the British invasion was starting, and it was really huge. And they were basically copying the Americans, with the R&B. They loved R&B. They loved the Beatles, loved the girl groups, the Shirelles and the Ronettes. They loved all of that, and even recorded those songs on their first albums. And so I just always had that music gene. And I think even going by myself to live with my grandparents at 5 in Guatemala and learning Spanish, I was exposed to different kinds of music. And like living in Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi, next to New Orleans, you had all that different, music, Caribbean music, all that great stuff, along with what was playing on the AM radio, which was everything. So it just all seeped into me somehow, and it's stuck.
That's good. That's exciting to know, because a lot of people don't know how music, change your moods. Like my moods change based off. Well, my moods are. I listen to music based on my moods, right? And I believe everybody does that.
Yeah, sure.
And if you don't, then I don't know why you listen to music, because you can't just listen to rock all the time. You can't just listen to funk all the time.
Right.
You got to be. You got to be more inspired to your emotions. The music is connected to our emotions. So what song do you want to play next for our listeners?
Well, we're going to do the next song, and it's called Are You a Slave? And I mentioned some of my influences here, like James Brown, Grace Jones, Bob Marley. Okay. And the message here is, are you a slave to the rhythm of life, music, or are you a slave to your phone? So
for all the young listeners, you need to listen to this song.
Right. It's not just the young.
Are you a slave to the rhythm? Are you a slave to the phone? Do you get down to James Brown or jump at the sound of the bing ringtone? Are you a slave to the rhythm? Are you a slave to your phone? Do you get down to Grace Jones, or are you lost in the gaming zone? The technology got you in the squeeze, making you hot and weak in the knees. The technology, the satellite feeds everyone's latest social disease. Are you a slave to the rhythm? Are you a slave to your phone? Do you get down to the clash? Or is cyberspace out your hot flash? Technology got you in the squeeze, making you hot and weak in the knees. Technology, a satellite feed, everyone's latest a social disease. WhatsApp, everybody, Instagram bling, TikTok till you drop, game over, woo 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 woo. Are you a slave to the rhythm? Are you a slave? Are you a slave to the phone? Do you get down to Bob Marley? Or are you sitting around being a cyber stoned? Technology got you in the squeeze, making you hot and weak in the knees. Technology, a satellite feed, everyone's latest a social disease. Are you a slave to the rhythm? Are you a slave to your phone? Do you get down to James Brown? Jump at the sound of the bing ring tone? Are you a slave to the rhythm? Are you a slave to your phone? Do you get down like Grace Jones? Or are you lost in the gaming zone? Are you a slave? 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 Are you a slave?
And welcome back to World Community Radio. This is KPEO, and we have T5 with us. And we're going to talk about ska music. Because back in the 80s, when I was growing up, it was ska, ma, and all that good stuff. But you're telling me it's before that, and I did not know that. So let's go.
Yes, the first wave of ska was in the 60s, and it was in Jamaica, and they had all those trucks that they would throw a little PA system on, and they would go through the streets playing all the latest Leslie Kong, who was an engineer, creations, and all the people, Bob Marley and Toots and the Maytals, they were all playing ska music, which was derived from like mento and calypso music, mixed in with American R&B. And what they did was they took the backbeat, the bass, and they played it off the beat rather than blues, boom, 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 boom. It was boom, 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 boom. So it was off the beat. And then the drums, this is probably just the, hearsay rumor, but they thought that the loudest drum was the biggest drum. Right? And so they played the snare drum where the kick drum usually is. Okay? Because that was the loudest drum. And so they were all playing that kind of music. And then what happened was they slowed down the music. They all started smoking pot. Rastafarianism, came to Jamaica, and they became more spiritual. So they kind of cut the beat in half, and it became reggae music. And so then in the 80s, all these Jamaicans they had moved to London, and they were living in England, and the whites that were dispossessed, they had a horrible political scene there. No one had jobs. They mixed the two kinds of music together, punk music and ska music, and they started calling it two-tone. because in England, like everywhere, they were very racist against the black communities, and the whites that weren't started playing music with them. And so it was an explosion. And so you had groups like the English Beat, the Specials, Madness, the Selector, and they became very big. So that music came to America a couple of years later. And that's when I heard the English Beat playing in a little disco club in Denver. And I said, wow, that is wild. I want to play that. And so I quit playing all my Allman Brothers, Little Feat music, left that band and started my own band with my friend Dave. And we started a ska band, the Scatterbrain. So I love that music, still love it. It won't go away. It keeps coming back with groups. No Doubt played ska music for a while. Now there's a great band called the Interrupters, young family type band. And so I like to put a song on almost every album that is a ska-oriented song. And so this one has one called What Did Rudy Do? And Rudy is the classic rude boy or rude girl, which is a ska character that they sing about a lot. And so the thing I liked about ska music, reggae was more spiritual and political. Ska music was more punky and goofy and silly. In England, it was really political. In the States, it was just more silly and goofy, like the difference between the Ramones and the Sex Pistols, So what did Rudy do?
Here we go.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. What did Rudy do to end up in a prison? What did he do that was so bad? How crazy with his mates, too much of whiskey, till he had to spend the night behind bars. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, what did Rudy do to end in a prison? What did he do that was so bad? Carried on until the wee hours. Carried on until they put him behind bars. Ordinance number 1, out past curfew. Ordinance number 2, loud and crude. Ordinances number 3, 4, 5, 6, insisting on kissing the judge's missus. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, what did Rudy do to end up in a prison? What did he do that was so bad? Crazy as a loon and a barrel of monkeys. Pure shenanigans that put him behind bars. Ordinance number 1, out past curfew. Ordinance number 2, being so rude. Ordinances number 3, 4, 5, 6, falling in love with the judge's missus, which she actually enjoyed and encouraged him to do again and again, over and over. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, what did Rudy do to end up in prison? What did he do that was so bad? Carried on until the wee hours. Carried on until they put him behind bars. And threw away the key. Now he's gone for good. No more thorn in the judge's side. Except on Saturday nights, the missus comes over for her regular conjugal visits. You ain't got what you don't own, and you don't own me and my soul. You got my fingers and my toes down to the bone, but you'll never, ever, never have my heart and soul. And you ain't got what you don't own, and you don't own me and my soul. Though you obsess and oppress and won't settle for less, you'll never, ever, never possess my heart and soul. Working in a coal mine or a factory, a white collar, yes man, 80-hour week, down the narrow path of chasing the dollar, light at the end getting smaller and smaller. You ain't got what you don't own, and you don't own me and my soul. I'll give my fingers, give my toes, work it to the bone, but I'll never, ever, never, ever give my heart and soul. Working in a coal mine or a factory, a white collar, yes man, 80-hour week, down the narrow path of chasing the dollar, light at the end getting smaller and smaller. What you say is what I do until you cross the line. That's when you can go and stick it where the sun don't shine. Beep 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 la beep ba da beep 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 la beep ba beep 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 la beep ba da beep 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 la beep ba. You ain't got what you don't own, and you don't own me and my soul. I'll play the fool, pay the piper and all of his tolls, but you'll never, ever, never, ever have my heart and soul. Working in a coal mine or a factory, white collar, yes man, 80-hour week, down the narrow path of chasing that dollar.
Radio. We're back with T5, and this is, which one is this one? I'm sorry.
You ain't got what you don't own,
there you
and
go.
you don't own me and my soul. You can have my body, you can work me to death, but you ain't breaking down those doors to my soul.
So tell everybody what's next for you and where people can find you at.
Okay, well, I have a Facebook page, T5 Valladares, and that's where most people can find me. And my next thing is I will be going back to Ventnor at the end of April, and I will be recording my 18th CD, and that should be coming out probably around the beginning of June. And then Marie and I, hopefully we will have some duo gigs. Our band is called the Mighty Twisters, and we mainly do parties now. So if you have a party, give me a call, and or ask me on Facebook or something. But our duo is called Little Twist, and we have some gigs lined up. and we're looking at playing a place in Niwot called the Old Oak Coffee House. That hasn't been confirmed completely yet, but usually we play there once a month during the summer. And then I play up and down the Jersey Shore whenever I'm there recording, all the way from, Atlantic City all the way down to Cape May. And whether it's playing for city gigs or playing all the open mics and their acoustic, electric ones, whatever, I just get up there and they let me use their equipment, their guitars, and I just go for it. And
Well, thank you for your time. I learned a lot today.
Thank
and
you.
our listeners hopefully learn a lot too. So we'll see you next time.
Thank you. And I want to thank my beautiful wife, Maria, who does most of my album covers, sings in my bands, allows me to do all this. And shout outs to all my musical family in Ventnor and, of course, Boulder.
All right.
And thank you to you, Renee Haynes. Wonderful meeting you.
You too.